welcome to the replay of the round 7 AFL clash from the MCG between Richmond and the Sydney Swans. The Tigers come into this round at 12th, having won 2 games and lost 4. Dustin Martin plays his 50th AFL game, and one change to the lineup. Daniel Jackson is in after serving a 1-match suspension. The Sydney Swans in hot form, 5 wins in a row to start the season, 1 loss, that was last week, and they have a couple of ins. Trent Dennis-Lane will come in and start as the sub, and Jesse White also back in the lineup with no Adam Goods or Shane Mumford. And Martin Mattner plays his 100th game for Sydney. Let's go to the action. Richmond, Sydney Swans. Always something special about coming to the Melbourne Cricket Ground on a Saturday afternoon for a Tigers game, and Sydney Swans always great to watch. Only missed the finals once in the past 9 years. Always tough to beat. We're not far from the bounce. David King, the 2-time premiership star, will be on the boundary for us. Kingy, which side are you taking?
Dwayne, I'll tell you what, can you call security for me? I'm down here in the Richmond amongst the ferals down here, Dwayne, let's be honest. And the Richmond supporter group down here, and they're going crazy down here. They expect to win today, and I don't blame them. Everything to play for at the MCG here today. They come down in force. The numbers are strong. They expect big things from their Tigers today.
It is a massive game. David King on the boundary this afternoon. Swans won the toss and will kick to the right of screen here in the opening term. Boys have been speaking about Sydney's record here. They've lost 13 of their last 14 games here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And the last time these two teams met, it was here not long ago, round 21 last year, and Richmond won by 43 points. But strangely enough, the Tigers ended up finishing 12th last year, a few weeks after that. And the Swans went on and played some finals. But this is a massive game for the Tigers. So to start their run, it needs to start now for Damien Hardwick and his boys. A couple of years at the helm, 15th in his first year, 12th last year for Damien Hardwick. In year 3, hopefully will start to blossom soon. Rewalt with Richards on him. Good crowd in here. Air of expectation from the Richmond fans. And the umpires, Matt Stevick, Heath Ryan and Jacob Mollison, about to get it underway with a big roar from the Richmond faithful.
And at the other end of the ground, Jesse White goes to the goal square, back into the side. Rance has been one of the Tigers' best so far this season. A pivotal battle.
Ivan Maric, the new cog figure at Tigerland, up against Seaby. No Mumford, no Goods for the Swans this afternoon. Tuck, kick smothered. Newman, kick smothered. Little nudge on Deledio. Play on was the call. Kennedy, another clearance for him. McVeigh bangs it forward. No one home forward pocket. He sits a little, and under a little bit of pressure, Hurley kept it alive, and Grimes takes it out. But Batchelor probably had no other option but going to the line there, and it was well worth finding Grimes near the paint.
You saw Reece Shaw starting up on a wing. He's gone straight to Brett Deledio. He's got the run with roll.
Marriage straight down. Jack tries to spear his way through. Kennedy got a handball out. Crowd wanted O'Keefe holding the ball decision. O'Keefe wanted too high. Jude Bolton in the thick of it. There's 15 players around this ball. Comes out to Martin in game 50 for him. To Newman to the wing. Knocked down by Johnson.
Interesting, Tigers have got Cochin interchanging with Dustin Martin at the moment. Out of full forward, I suspect.
Kennedy to Johnson. Bounces it inside 50. Jesse White back into the team this week. Knocks it down. D. Maric. Hurley. Tuck. It's a hot start. Fantastic start. Foley, Newman, everybody getting a piece of it. Not going forward at the moment, the Tigers. Martin with the release kick. Will it work though? Batchelor running onto it with Grigg. Batchelor weaves some magic there. He took them both on and got the handball out. Grigg wanted to go backwards, not forwards.
They needed to keep going forwards. They got the switch they wanted. They found open territory. And that backwards kick allows the Swans to fill up the gaps and get their defensive zone in place again.
Not a great deal of communication by the two Tigers going for that loose ball. Surely the bloke just going straight at the goals had to take it.
Well, they're now back where they started a couple of minutes ago.
And trying to go out the same way. So Rance again has the ball. In the back pocket for the Tigers. Goes short. It stays in there a long time, but he hits his mark. So, Jace, with this one, the Swans have zoned up beautifully. They've done exactly what they could, the best result they could possibly do there, and it kept them in a defensive 50 for about the best part of 40 seconds.
Yeah, they did, but the Tigers actually did it really well. The switch kick opened up play. It was unfortunate that Greg made the decision to go backwards when he needed to keep going.
Now they're away. The 1-2. Tuck. Back to the Martin. Martin kicks inside 50. It bounces awkwardly. Out comes a full-chested Richards, who goes backwards when he had the ball in front of him. All he had to do was keep going. Kocher now opens it up. Here's Jackie Boy. 1, 2, and goal!
Self-inflicted wound by the Swans. Ted Richards had no necessity to go backwards. He was on his left foot. He could have kept going forward. Martin gets the ball and he just scrubs a mongrel in. Here's Richards. He goes forward. And he doesn't have to go backwards. That's just good pressure. Cochin gets the ball. Should have ended up kicking the goal for mine. Gives it to Rewald. Rewald turns around, tries to dummy. Burns Cochin on the way through, but got the job done.
He's only kicked 2 and 2 against the Swans the last 2 times they've met, Jack Rewald. It's a big game for him.
And you're right, Jared. Cochin now comes up onto the ball. Dustin Martin goes to the goal square.
Jack tries to shuffle it out to Bird. Jack, hands and knees. Kennedy over the top of them.
What that means is Ted Richards plays out of the square, so he plays on the Martin-Cochin rotation. And Heath Grundy is picking up Jack Rewald.
Large number of players around this bounce. CB palms it down to Bird. They get the clearance. Jack. Touch play on was the call. Hope you heard that. Morris front spot. Off hands Jetta. Got it off to Bird. High. Full forward. White. Hooley backtracks. Got in the hole. Conker couldn't make something of it. Went to ground. So to Morris. Put a ball up.
Jason, do you get the feeling you're watching the Hawks when you're watching the Tigers?
Well, they are the best team in the competition this year at uncontested possession. So once they get it, they like to keep hold of it. They use a lot more handball, though. And we saw that when they were coming out of defence before. They're not afraid to keep the ball alive.
Swans good at getting it inside the forward 50. They've struggled the last couple of weeks to convert. Fighting hard. Tigers again. Cochin.
I think the great similarity is that they just pack players into defence and have a really open forward line. And why wouldn't you? You've got 2 greats in Rewald and Martin, who are just good one-on-one players. And, of course, the Hawks have got Cyril and Buddy.
And the flip side of that is you've got to run and carry once you do win it down back.
Miller wins the free kick for out on the full. Bounced off Johnson's foot. Over the line, out of bounds. So Brad Miller on centre wing for the Tigers. Gets the short kick in.
Gee, it had to be good.
It was. There's Tuck to Cochin. Left foot kick. They're finessing, but holding possession. Back where they started with Jackson.
And a big day for Tucky because he's on Kennedy, who's just about the best performed player in the game this year.
Jackson up to Marich. Off hands. Here's a chance for Foley. 40 out. He goes a little chip kick around the body. Richards in trouble again. Martin dropped it. It's gone. Martin's got the free kick 25 metres out. What a start for the Tigers if he can put this through.
It is, and it really gives them another dimension up forward, playing a Cochin or Martin type out of the goal square. Ted Richards will probably feel a little bit harshly treated there. He attacked the footy, then he got swung.
Gone.
Had his arms held.
But you just got 2 of your most talented players in the most dangerous position coming out of the goal square, and they're about to be involved in their first 2 goals if this one goes through.
5 touches in 5 minutes for Dustin Martin. He comes in. Second goal on the board. The 2 big guns have delivered. Revolt and Martin. Goals for the Tigers.
Well, it's the ideal start from a Richmond perspective. If you said which players do you want to get involved in the game early, number 1 you say Jack Rewald. Got to get his confidence up. He's a player that rides his emotions. So if he gets his confidence up, it's a great sign for the Tigers. Then you want Dustin Martin showing his strength, not just on ball, but also as an attacking forward type. Now, it wasn't the lead and strong mark that we've seen him do. It was the defensive effort. Second to the ball, but he tackled Richards and won the free kick.
Thanks.
50th goal and his 50th game for Dustin Martin. Swans are yet to get on the board. Played 7 minutes and that bounce will be recalled.
Boys, the Swans' first quarters have been a real worry. 5-2 against Hawthorn, 5-1 against Adelaide last week.
Well, they're true to form. I guess that's the one thing you can say, Ed.
Yeah.
They're going to need Jetta to fire up. Big job for young Morris. Jason, he's a kid with plenty of skill, plenty of goal at him.
Yeah.
What a challenge.
It's just got to be a complete shutdown role. Make sure that Jeddah doesn't get goal side.
Jeddah comes hard. There you go. Gets it on cue. Playing in front. Malcheski keeps it low. Spears that. Inside 50. Hits the deck. Delidio. Caught by Everett. Starting the game this week after coming on as the sub last week, Andreas Everett, replacing Adam Gooch last week.
But from Stephen Morris's perspective, they're the possessions he needs Lewis Jeddah to get, where he's running away from goal, moving up the ground.
Seavey, Foley, Hooley was best on ground last time these two teams met. Got the 3 votes. To Jackson, back into the team this week after suspension. And the ball thumped out of play.
Throw in on the outer side. Big Marriage gets to the front. Seavey at the back for the Swans. Shaw slaps it further afield. Got the numbers the Tigers, but Jude Bolton does very well. Conker. Delidio doesn't want to release. Holds it up. Did well there. Jude Bolton in again. Jack hard at it. Throw in. Half forward flank for the Swans.
And you can just see on screen there, before we cut to the close-up, there he is. Jeddah and Morris. That's Jeddah's classic position. They like to win the stoppage. They'll just bomb the ball down. They'll try and empty out the forward line, and he'll just go charging to goals.
Just lurking with intent at the moment. The ball comes out to Foley over the top. Morris does it well. They got away. Cochin again. He's been silky skilled already up towards Jack, just over his head. Did well to get his hands on it. Look at that for intent. Vrewalt and Martin again. Lock it in the forward 50. Great play by the Tiger forwards.
I guess the umpire had to ask himself whether the initial tackle was high, but it's been a lot of speculation about high grabs. Let's take another look. Looks like he copped one above the neck to me, but umpire missed it.
Richards is, well, they've been all over him so far. 2 turnovers has resulted in the 2 goals. And the 2 goal kickers weren't going to let him have any space at all there. Disposals 43-15, as you can see. The Tigers on fire early at the MCG.
On attacking 50. Another good tackle later on Richards. Time from Martin. Downstairs, David King.
I'll tell you what, the crowd are playing a role here, boys. They're like the 19th man on the ground for the Tigers at the moment. Any 50-50 free kicks going their way, and that gives the emotion back to this team, which I think plays on it so much.
Yeah, with you 100% there, Kingy. Parker bangs it towards the wing. It is great to come to the G for a Richmond game, to hear the Tiger Army in full force. Reid to Jeddah. On the half volley, on the run, and the kick not quite as good.
Well, that was really interesting. At that last stoppage at centre-half forward for the Tigers, they made Grigg charge back to become an extra man behind the play. They were worried about the fast break, and it looks as if Grigg is going to be the fast break stopper.
Damien Hardwick really picked out Jeddah and also McGlynn, Gerard, as the 2 players that have to stop running back in those situations. Jackson goes up the line. Nahas one-on-one. Good play by Smith. Reached over the top. Little toe poke forward. Did as well as he possibly could. Then goes again. That's great play. Nahas didn't let him go, though. That was fantastic football from all concerned. And with a ball up right on the boundary line.
And you can just see, Eddie, that the Tigers are maintaining their structure in defence. They're not going to get sucked up the ground, because that's exactly what the Swans want. You know that you can see that they're going in with McVeigh and Jeddah with small players. They've got Dennis Lane on the bench, who can play a similar role. So very well structured and probably well orchestrated through the week.
Mad scramble here. White finally gets it out. It'll be a Richmond ball. There's the 2 subs. Trent Dennis Lane in for the Sydney Swans as their sub. And Brandon Ellis will start as the sub for the Tigers.
Big day for that man we saw on screen a moment ago, Jesse White. He needs to take the next step. He's just been loitering as a fringe player, in and out for the Swans. He's got to make a spot his own.
Back in this week. No Goods, no Mumford. Cochin. He was a bit down last week as well. Trent Cochin, just the 18 possessions against Port, but it was a win at least to Newman.
And here's Grigg again. They just love using him as the outlet player.
He's averaging 30 possessions a game this year, Greg. He heads toward Morris, and Jeddah takes it to the line. Will get a ball in. David King again.
Dwayne, just having a look at full forward, and Brett Delidio's gone to full forward, and what that's done, Reece Shaw doesn't want to be stuck at full forward. Ted Richards is now his opponent. So first win in a coaching sense to Damien Hardwick.
Morris goes hard, caught one right across the chops, and will get the free kick.
Well, I think the Tigers got the game on the way they want to play it at the present time. They're getting plenty of marks, 13. Swans yet to take 1 mark.
Grigg to conquer. Inside, here's Jakey King. The push-up, gets one in the back. Umpire let it go, was good play. Foley, back he goes to Martin. Martin has options left, right and centre. He decides to go long and strong. Looking for Jack Rewald. At the back, it's a beautiful mark taken by Deledio. Umpire's called play on. Listen to the Tiger fans. They're going berserk at the punt right end. Up it comes again up to Foley, but good play as Reid gets to the front. Wow, listen to this.
Well, that is just crazy stuff. We're all perplexed here.
That was one clean grab.
It's been a mark for 150 years. Bird to half forward. Everett knocks it down. Can the Swans make something of their luck?
Well, Gary Ablett took a mark in the same place and held it for about a fifth of it.
Everett to line up here. The Tiger fans still irate. Across the face. O'Keefe will go. And well played, Batchelor. Knocked it straight down. Newman. Geez, he did that well. He did.
Dangerous kick, but
just the required 15 to Morris.
They are definitely playing a possession football game. It's 58 possessions to 27 in Richmond's favour. And if you have a look at the marks, 15 to 1.
That would have been 16 to 1.
Yes, it should be 16 to 1.
Well, we know that wasn't paid, but still that's a big win for Deledio versus Richards at full forward. I think coaching-wise, Damien Hardwick has read this perfectly.
Right, boys, Jason Dunstall, you're the full forward here. Tell us what was wrong with that.
Clean mark. He's held it for an eternity. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. Please.
Granted, it was in slow motion, but it was still there a long time, wasn't it?
Grab.
Absolutely, Chase. No dispute whatsoever. As the ball goes forward over the head of Morris again. Now the Swans through Reid, get it out. Jetta around the body, but the Tigers are getting back. Oh, Grant's dropped it, caught one high, no, said the umpire. Play on. The kick around the body is from Everett. It's going to bounce through. No, stops on its point and getting back and putting it over the line. Great play by D. And that was a bit of cosmic justice for the Tigers, you would have thought.
The footy gods are definitely here. Made that bounce slowly.
Oh, straight off the bench.
Oh, that was ugly, that one. So Jack shorts it inside 50. O'Keefe to line up from the paint.
That was a horrendous error earlier on. A simple chest mark dropped in defence. Rance just, I don't know if he had it spent before he actually took possession, but probably in hindsight, either way, should have cost them a goal, and now it might.
Ryan O'Keefe now officially one of the top 10 game players of all time. Moved past Bobby Skilton. Touched on the line. Kept alive. White outside of the foot. D. Hurley just got a handball out. Straight back to O'Keefe. Has his second shot at it. And misses this one. Well, they've got about 4 or 5 goes at this one. The Swans have yet to be able to get one across the line. O'Keefe has been playing in the forward line. Hasn't had much of it, but has just started to warm up.
Are the Tigers playing with fire, being too attacking when they're deep in defence under pressure, trying to manufacture hand passes in traffic to keep possession of the ball?
Well, I think that's the danger of the high possession game when you're playing against a side like Sydney who will push up and apply a lot of pressure.
Marriage gets to the front, gets the free kick. We just showed that mark again in real time just so we could see it.
It's still a mark.
That's a mark all day.
Bottom line, it was a blue from the umpire.
Yeah, it was. Now, look at this up the field. Martin didn't see the players running. Cochin decides to go wide. The whole emphasis tonight from Damien Hardwick is to run and spread the Sydney Swans. They're doing it beautifully at the moment, the Tigers. Playing the coach's instructions. It's working. Morris gets it forward. Now Robin Nahas, little chip forward. Out they come, and Miller takes the mark.
Nearly 50 as well. It was late.
They are doing a lot of things right at the moment, the Tigers. They're prepared to take the risks. They're prepared to back their kicks and hit targets, and it's paying off.
The Tiger fans, well, they're aggrieved, they're excited, they're pumped. It's all happening down at the punt road end at the moment. And what about this kick from Brad Miller to make it 16 points? Midway through this opening quarter at the MCG. Has kicked 117 goals, 76 in his career. From 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle, the kick's on its way, it fades. Didn't kick through it at all. In fact, didn't make the distance. It's punched through for a rush behind.
It's a really poor kick. One of the things we spoke about pre-match was making every moment count. A team like Richmond has to punish Sydney on the scoreboard when they get the opportunities, because they won't dominate Sydney for the entire 4 quarters.
Sure. 60-metre bomb in the CB direction. Marriage, fist, Jack. Parts the seas. Handball not so good. Foley cuts it off. Tigers on the march again. Deledio looks up. Couple of options. Grigg, the runner.
Pops it high. Won't have the carry. King. Revolt. Not quite. Hit the deck. Nahas. Outside of the boot. Couldn't manufacture one.
That's a panic kick. That should have been a goal. He had plenty of time. He could have kicked it on his left foot. He could have opened up the angle a little bit. He had time and space to actually make it a much easier shot than what he attempted.
Geez, it's a pinball out there at the moment, and it is being fueled by an enormous atmosphere at the G.
So Hanbury goes up the wing. Nice kick. White. Speaking of colours, Black Caviar has just saluted for the 21st consecutive times, boys, up and doomed them. As the ball goes out wide. The Morfordville, was it? My apologies. We could have run in both places. It wouldn't have made any difference.
Great mark by Grimes.
Going to Doomben, of course. The second of the two races in Adelaide. So Black Caviar doing it again. We'll have a look at it later in the show. As the ball comes out to Hooley now, runs the centre wing. There's still plenty of space in front. The Tigers peel back, but the kick wasn't quite good enough. Almost a bit of luck for the Tigers. Here's another chance for Basher Hooley. Does it beautifully on this occasion. Down to Marriage, to Nahas, who owes. Handball back. Good play. Morris bombs it long. Jack Rewald's underneath it. Pushes. Marks! What do they do this time? Umpire wasn't game in front of the Tiger Army to play that one. He held his position, one action, and will line up 15 metres directly in front.
They're under siege at the moment. Absolutely under siege, the Sydney defence. Is that a throw, Jared? That little backhanded flip hand pass?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of throw in it, Jason. But where they're killing the Swans right now is breaking out of the half-back line. And we saw it once again with Hurley getting the ball forward, and Rewald gets another chance.
For his second goal of the quarter, Jack Rewald comes in. Tiger Army excited. Swans fans are going nuts at the other end. It's a cauldron at the MCG.
Well, we were watching him pre-match, and in his warm-up, he missed about 5 set shots in a row, pretty much directly in front on a slight angle because he was leaning back at the point of impact. But you watch him when he kicks this, he keeps his head right over the foot, he kicks through the ball. He uses the forearm. He doesn't get caught using the hands, so I think that's okay. But look at the weight forward. That's nice.
You thought that was okay?
Decibel level is way up at the MCG right now.
Think he might have got away with one there, Jack, on the replay.
I'll let you and Jason argue about that during the quarter-time break because I know you both disagree. Parker hacks it forward. Swans need something from someone. Jude Bolton can't provide. D backtracks. Tuck, they're inspired right now, the Tigers. Went for Conker, missed him. Kennedy missed Parker with the handball. Got Foley a little high. Jackson been good in his return game. Conker short, missed Miller. Johnson ducked out of that attempted tackle easily.
Well, that's one of the few tackles that the Tigers have not made. That's been the most impressive thing about them, and that is their pressure in and around the contest.
Bolton's kick just smothered. That was lucky because McLean was waiting on his own, and high fives all round.
Yeah, it's a terrific smother, but you're right, Jared. It was a poor tackle from Brad Miller. He had to corral Alex Johnson to the boundary line.
Some good acts by D in the last couple of moments. Martin trying to crash through. Marriage didn't really want it, just toe poked it backwards in the back. Free kick Tigers.
The difference at the moment, Ed and Jared and the boys up there, it's 49 uncontested possessions between the arcs to Richmond to 15 for Sydney. They're just controlling this game and playing at their own speed. There's no hurry to Richmond. This is something we haven't seen before. Good control.
They're also hitting their targets, Kingy. They're kicking at 76%, the Tigers. Sydney kicking at 40%.
Yeah, bad play by Jesse White. They're giving up that free kick. Conker to White out the back. Miller searching for it. He's locked up. We'll have a bounce. Between wing and half forward on the members' side of the MCG. Richmond by 18 points, 5:10 on the clock, as you can see. Another slow start, worrying John Longmire. Marriage. White got the tap, out the back. Good play by Foley, just sweating on his opponent, Parker. Ball goes forward into the 50 again. Bounce, which way will it go? It's awkward. It's Jack Rewald. 3 1/4 for Jack. Will it bounce? No! Just offline.
Shane Edwards filthy that he didn't get the hand pass.
Yeah, and I think that John Longmire won't be happy with Reece Shaw. He was side by side of the stoppage, but when the ball was in the area, he just let Delidio go forward free of charge.
Straight through. Newman pops it over King's head.
Oh,
Greg He's hurt, Smith. Short pass, missed the target initially. Martin plays for the free. Edwards, well, he thought about Riewoldt and said, you didn't give it to me. Great tackle, Riewoldt. Johnson dumped. Didn't appear to dispose of it legally. King jumped on. Should have been a push in the back. Foley from the pocket.
Oh, he's hit the post.
This is a great start by the Tigers. They're being absolutely enthralled or being charged up by their fans. And gee, this is around the goal mouth that is ricocheting everywhere.
Have a listen to the Tiger fans.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one to umpire too, Ed, because there's so much emotion from the crowd, and they're trying to let the game flow as much as possible.
Jace, 32 years of frustration is boiling over in the first 20 minutes of play in this first quarter. Look at those disposals. Richmond 101, Sydney 45, hardly touched it. Chris Newman will get the free kick. So on the wing, Newman goes up the line. Looking for and finding Miller at full stretch. Great play. Miller goes short to the pocket. Martin comes out. Good play. Cleaned up his opponent. Took the ball to the boundary line. Couldn't quite hold it, but that was great football. Throw in. Forward pocket for the Tigers.
He's happy to bowl a few over, Dustin Martin. He doesn't mind physical contact.
24 goalless minutes for the Swans. Cochin tried to play for the high free kick, didn't get it. Hacked high, Deledio. Wide, Riewoldt with the reach. Get a ball in. Damien Hardwick enjoying what he's seeing, no doubt. Swans under siege. Marriage out of the air, kicks toward goal and just misses.
What's interesting is the number of disposals as against time inside forward half, and this may be of some surprise to our viewing audience, but 60% or just under for the Sydney Swans. The Tigers getting half or most of their possessions in the back half.
They need to get one here. They deserve it, the Tigers. Don't want to be wasteful. Look at that from Cochin. That was champagne football to Deledio. An out-and-out star. Kicks it long. Jake wants the free kick for Hyatt. Slapped through. So they're up to 3-6, Jace. That's 9 scoring shots to 2. But they need probably another goal here to get an accurate reflection on their dominance.
Yeah, that's probably quite right, Ed. I don't think they've made the most of their opportunities thus far. And you've got to make them count. Otherwise, Sydney will bounce back. And look, they kick a couple of straight goals and all of a sudden it's close enough to a square game again. So you've got to make it count when you get the chances.
Malcheski to himself, then wide. Batchelor flies, can't mark. Marich allowed his teammate D to get that. It's banged forward in the end by Rance in hope. Close to the line, King couldn't quite keep it in. From one King to another, David.
Just having a look at that last Trent Cochin handball, he just delays this in the tackle for a split second to put Deledio into space. He just understands the game better than most, Trent Cochin.
From the throw-in, Grigg. Panicking. Cochin again. Look at that, beautiful. Opening up, Grigg kicks it to the hot spot. Riewoldt needs to fly from behind. A bit of panic down there from Johnson. Thumped it to the line. Of a throw in. Wow, the pressure is absolutely enormous on the Swans back line at the moment. The Tigers have got it where they want it.
They're just hanging on, trying to get to quarter time, the Swans.
Parker tries to find some room. Matner back to Parker. Gone! Umpire called play on, did he? Yes, he did. Jake King opens it up. Well, it might work for the Tigers as Conker will line up directly in front, 40 metres out. But absolutely, that was a ball that was dropped. Look at this. Gone.
Gee, that's a great tackle, Brett Deledio. And this is an absolute must kick from Reece Conker.
Reece Conker has kicked 4 goals, 7 in his career so far. Game number 24. This is a huge kick for the Tigers to go to a 28-point lead. You've got the best seat in the house. Conker comes in, kicks. Tiger Army gives the goal umpire's decision.
Well, it's been a dominant performance by the Tigers, and they're now seeing some reward on the scoreboard. 28-point lead, just shy of the quarter-time break. But it's their pressure right around the ground that has been so impressive. And this time, Deledio, it's not the first time. He could have got another shot at goal himself for an earlier tackle. But their tackling inside the forward 50 has today been as good as it's probably ever been under Hardwick.
1 minute 41 left on the clock to quarter time. Conker has a rest. It's a 4-0 start for the Tigers. Seaby, Marich, ball hits the deck and Foley pounced and weaves some magic straight through the middle of them. Part the seas, might go for goal, had another bounce, shorts it, poor short Johnson.
Well, that Martin one out in the square, to me, he's one of the best one-on-one players. He'd be going just straight to him.
Well, there's a shank.
Could be a turnover. Newman, Marich, Edwards, perfect short, and Miller can line up directly out.
I'll tell you one of the things that impresses me the most about this performance with Sydney. They've had more than twice as many possessions. Richmond, not Sydney. They've had more than twice as many possessions as the Swans. They've also had more tackles.
Yeah.
They're leading the tackle count 20-19 and the possession count 121 to 52.
5 tackles inside forward 50. That averages 20 for the game. That is an enormous amount.
Just seconds left. Needs to nail it. Squeezed it in.
Well, this is just magnificent stuff from the Tigers. It's been a long time coming, and right now they'll be thinking we've arrived in the crowd, but you only have to think back 2 weeks ago to when Adelaide got a similar start against the Swans, and they were able to fight their way back and take a handy lead, only to give it up in the final 10 minutes. So the Swans have got the job in front of them, but this is just electrifying stuff from the home side.
Well, not since Tony Jewell was at Tigerland in the coaching department have they been so pumped up. Look at this, the Tigers are absolutely going. 34 points up. The stats, Cochin's had 11, Martin's had 10, Foley's had 10, Delidio's had 9, and a couple of goals to Jack Revolt. This is as good as it gets for the Tigers, and the forward tackling and pressure's been enormous. Nahas locks it in the 50 again.
That was a brilliant tap at the centre bounce from Ivan Maric. He ran around his opponent Mark Seaby and then just directed the ball straight back to a teammate for an easy centre clearance.
So Big Ivan up against Seaby again. Awkward bounce, Seaby couldn't get it out. Foley in hard, Tuck throws it out, Foley gets it out. Conker, Hooley, Edwards, back it goes to Grimes. They're setting up beautifully, the Tigers, and the kick goes out wide to Morris. Morris kicks inside 50, here we go. Front and square, Cochin's just lurking. It'll go over the line and out of bounds for a throw in.
That's the wrong place to kick the footy.
Top of the square?
Well, you'd like to think at least to a more attacking area than 30 metres out on the boundary line. Nearly an impossible kick even if he marks it.
Throw in forward pocket for the Tigers. Not enough time to get another result, but have a listen to the Tiger Army. They're up on their feet and so they should be. That's a good a quarter that the Tigers have played for a long, long time. 34 points, 5-6-36. The Swans are 2 behinds. A goalless quarter for the Sydney Swans, but most importantly, the game plan that they came with to play today, the Tigers, has been adhered to the letter. Run and spread, pressure, and kick the goals when required. Dimmer will be happy with that. So too the Tiger Army. They're up on their toes. They're ready to go. When we return, it's Richmond by 34 points at quarter time. Here's Jackie Boy. 1, 2, and goal! Richards in trouble again. Martin dropped, it's gone. 5 touches in 5 minutes for Dustin Martin. He comes in, second goal on the board. Jack Rewald's underneath it, pushes, marks. What do they do this time? It's for his second goal of the quarter. Jack Rewald comes in. Tiger Army excited. Swans fans are going nuts at the other end. It's a cauldron at the MCG.
Welcome back to the MCG, where the Richmond Football Club 5 goals 6-36 lead the Swans goalless, 2 behinds, 2 points. And what an amazing start to the Tigers it's been, with 2 goals to Jack Rewalt, singles to Cochin and Martin. They are just electric at the moment. This is the coming of age of the Richmond Football Club. We haven't seen them perform like this before. Let's have a look at some of the statistics that show you the dominance the Tigers have had today. I haven't seen the Swans look listless in contested possessions, plus 20 to the Tigers. Disposals, plus plus 77. It's been their composure that's been the difference. The effective disposal percentage almost 20% greater. The pressure from Richmond has been first class. They've forced the Swans into turnover, and it's proved dividends on the scoreboard this term. I can't remember the last time the Swans were held like this defensively, and the scoring shots, 11 scoring shots for the term for the Richmond Football Club, is the best since round 21, 2008. John Longmire would not be happy with what he's seeing, Dwayne, Gerard and Jason, but I tell you what, this is the new Richmond Football Club under Damien Hardwick.
Now, you're right, Kingy. It's an amazing first term. I can't recall a team just having 52 possessions for a quarter footy. Now, if you average that out over a game, that's 208 possessions for a game of footy. That's old school footy, Gerard.
That's vintage. That's 1970 grand final when Jezelenko Ubuti was dominating the half forward line, and a good game for a keeper, for a midfielder, was an 18 possession game.
Could you have picked another
Sorry,
grand final?
just for you. That one.
34 points the margin. Second term underway. Marriage, Seaby. Resume hostilities. Shaw nudged a little. No free. Another big pack around this. Umpire needs to sort it out.
They've beaten the Swans at their own game, Jason. Clearances, stoppages, pressure. It's all one way at the present time. The Swans are starting to fumble as a result.
Still goalless, the Swans. Hard to believe that their record here at the G in recent times horrendous. Martin dropped it as he was dropped. Soccer off the deck didn't work. Kennedy to O'Keefe. Wide ball. Parker knocked away by D. Fights on. Both of them fight on. Flicked out to the back. Bolton. O'Keefe. Experienced players need to play a hand now. Inside 50. Newman let it drop. Reed. It's been that kind of year for him. Little fumble. Parker tries to strip it. Crowd want a little bit more love from the umpires. They didn't get much, the Richmond fans, in the opening term. We'll get a ball up.
I guess we're just here sitting back and waiting for the response from the Swans, and they've been such an honest, reliable side over the last decade. You expect that by half-time they'll have eaten into some of this lead, but the Tigers got to say about that as well.
Everett snap out of the pack. Oh, good play by Rance. Almost took the mark there. They threw it over his head. Beautiful play. And it comes to Morris. Morris's chip kick is a beauty. I tell you what, for an inexperienced player, I know he's a mature age recruit, Morris. He runs to the right spots, and his disposal with poise has been fantastic.
There it is.
And that's not what a poised disposal is all about, as Hanbury makes the Tigers pay, and the turnover is complete, and the Swans are on the scoreboard. Beautiful play by Daniel Hanbury.
Well, we just got a shot of Damien Hardwick, and he wasn't too upset, because if you're going to play this style of football where you take risks, you use the footy, you chip it around, mistakes will eventually be made. Now, this is a very costly one, but it's a byproduct of the style of game they're playing.
That's true, Jason. It was a fantastic individual effort by Daniel Hanbury, though, to come through, kick it from outside 50. He went through halfway up the post, so it was a great conversion.
You're right, Gerard. No ordinary goal, that. It's got some class. Finally, the Swans are on the board. Marriage, perfect palm down. Foley, then Newman. Pokes it wide, hoping for Miller. Got hands to it. Johnson got a fist to it at the same time. Miller half had him. Johnson half had it. Takes it to the line. Been a bit of a whipping boy in times, Brad Miller. Father played a few more games for the Swans. He would have been a father-son for the Swans. Just the 28 games, though, for Sydney. Not enough under the current criteria. Ball rolls through a couple. And umpires found a high. Richmond's ball. Foley.
I think more a whipping boy at the Demons than he has been at Richmond, where he's consolidated this year his spot.
Rewild from 4 deep. Tried to crash that pack hard, and Richards content to see the line.
Can't remember the Swans breaking hard off the half-back line, Jason. The forward pressure has been superb.
Yeah.
Maybe their willingness just to take a risk at the present time has also impeded them.
Tuck tried to grab it out of the ruck. O'Keefe slams it on the boot. And that's the way they're getting it out, isn't it, Gerard?
Yep.
Underlining your point. It's just kick and hope at the moment. Foley, Edwards, good play. Marriage gets a bad bounce. It clean bowls a lot of them. Seaby's in there. Nahas. Foley's been fantastic, and he's at the bottom of the pack again. We'll have a ball up on the 50.
He's up to 15 possessions already, Nathan Foley. Doesn't always used it as well as he can, but that's an extraordinary return early on in a game of football.
5 clearances for Foley. That was Tuck at the bottom of the pack. McVeigh tucked his head, got it out. Good play. Away they go through Jetta. Good contest this one. Reed rants. Reed kept his feet, flicks it over the top. Hanbury, Jetta need to get some run. Kicks up the line, Tigers everywhere.
Oh, did that poorly.
Needed to call it in. Now's a chance for Jack. Could be a second punish here for the Tigers. Off hands McVeigh. They've got back in numbers though. Good play by the Tigers. Up the corridor they go. Big Marriage presents. Gets the handball working to Hooley. Gets it on to Morris. Next kick important. Morris looks up. No one running towards him, so he has to carry the ball. Now he goes long with a kick. Needed to get someone to turn around and run towards him. They were all streaming to the goal, boys. No one peeled off.
Been good Johnson so far to Madner, Shaw, McVeigh, McGlynn.
Got Reed.
And he goes for Seaby instead. Thumped away from him. Well done by Newman to get there in time. Jude Bolton floats one to the top of the square. Everett tried for the toe poke and he was beaten for it. By Grimes to Morris to Batchelor. Martin puts the afterburners on. Kick not so good. It bounces. It might be to their favour though. Straight past. No, Grundy dived on it but lost it. Greg short. Perfect. Miller.
Well, Rich Grundy just had to keep his feet there. He bailed out going to ground, and in the finish, it has cost the Swans a shot at goal. Great work by Grimes at the other end of the ground. That was A-grade defensive work. Have another look at it. He's under pressure. Everett tried to sneak it around to Kennedy, but Grimes kept his feet that time. Made a good decision. Got it clear.
And there's a hush around the MCG. Tiger fans know this is important for momentum. Strikes it well, Miller. Magnificent. And he pumps up the volume again.
Well, the hardest part from a Sydney perspective in terms of getting back into this match is you can't do it if you haven't got the footy. And at the moment, we've got 3 Sydney Swans players that have got 6 possessions to their name.
Yep.
There are 15 Richmond players that have 6 or more to their name. They're getting numbers around the contest, and we're seeing a few of the Swans players panicking. I mean, Heath Grundy, he was terrified. Have a look at the goal umpire getting under Ted Richards.
So Miller kicks the back-to-back goals for the Tigers with one in between to Hanbury for Sydney. So the margin back to 34 points as it was at quarter time. You mentioned Grimes, boys. Damien Hardwick was saying during the week that they were 4-5 last year and travelling okay until he tore the hamstring off the bone. He is a vital member of this Richmond side. And we just saw how important he is. McVeigh has it.
Be interesting to see if they can just control the footy for a minute, Swans.
They're just beating them at their own game here, winning too many one-on-ones at Richmond Football Club for John Longmire's liking, plus 21 contested possessions at the moment. And that is the hallmark of the Swans brand of football.
Bolton kicks it up the line. Forced to kick to a pack. No runners, Gerard Healy said, from the Sydney Swans so far. Bird is caught.
Gee, that was a good tackle. To not get in the back of your opponent running like that, Reece Conker did it particularly well.
White doing the ruck work this time. Marriage with him. Tuck the clearance. Nahas playing in front. Position A. Sends it wide to the runner, Greg. Thought about it, but Jetta was on the move to try and shut him down.
Wrong player to play on in front of, isn't he?
He, as you said earlier, I think, Ed, had the most possessions in the game so far this year, and yet no one wants to pick him up. No one's paying him any respect right now, and yet he's a cornerstone of the way the Tigers are playing their footy.
Delidio took on Shaw to the pocket, and Johnson mops up another.
It's interesting, when they kick long, they are, it must be tactical, but they are kicking deep to the pocket all the time. That's where they figure, if we don't take a mark, we'll at least create a stoppage.
Newman, turnover. Foley from the paint, sets it up. Rewalt Fist from Richards, knocks it down. Bolton got there first. Was that a legal handball? Martin, Cochin, feeds it back over the top to Marich. The cold hero from 40 brings the house down.
Brilliant stuff, Tigers once again ripping it off the Swans with pressure in the forward 50. A couple of nice handballs round, and then the new boom recruit, Ivan, gets onto one. There it is. That should have been a throw and a free kick to the Swans right there. Jude Bolton just handballing that, well, just throwing that away. Once again, another replay of it. Good work from Martin. You've got really smart players all linking up. That's just a A-grade decision to get it outside of the pack, give it to Marich, who has an opportunity to kick the big one.
Every decision is the correct decision for the Tigers. Ivan Maric, with the big mullet and the big play, puts the Tigers 40 points in front. Up he goes, he gets the tap again. Foley crashes through, couldn't quite get it. Kennedy has been well held. Maric slams it on the boot, sits awkwardly. Back to Edwards. Here they go again, the Tigers. Out wide, lurking with intent. Hooley gets a little tap onto Jake King. Parts the sea, goes long with a kick. Up to the forward pocket it goes. It's Martin again. Martin's got it in the pocket. Wanted to play on.
It was a brilliant kick, Ed. I was watching Martin down the other end of the ground. He signalled to the pocket, he held his ground, he wanted it in that space. The question will be whether he used his hands once again to push him out of the way.
He used his hands, Jared, but I don't think they're on the back. I think they're on the side of the shoulder or the upper arm of Ted Richards.
Nevertheless, it was just a great bit of communication between midfield and forward.
To make the margin 46 points, Martin comes in, hits the post. Third poster for the Tigers tonight already.
Got to go man on man now, the Swans, Jason. They're just getting slaughtered by the run off the full-back line and the half-back line by the Tigers. And I think they've only got one option. They play well man on man, and they're basically, the game's gone on the scoreboard unless something happens.
Correct.
McVeigh down the line, Everett. Fist. They can reset.
I reckon it's a long time since John Longmire would have felt this helpless.
Yep.
Hit the post 3 times, boys, the Tigers.
Brandon Ellis, the sub for the Tigers, if you've joined us late. Trent Dennis-Lane, the sub for the Swans. McVeigh reaches in. Foley gets a right. Hooley, long possession. Rewalt in a good spot here, can't get up. Richards got the fist. Johnson playing some sort of game.
Oh,
dangerous kick,
shit.
Perfect kick to Jetta.
That had to be so good.
Was his only option though, and he did pull the trigger.
It's a gutsy kick.
Malchevsky, who copped an earful from his coach at quarter time. Jetta over the top.
Still got loose players here, the Tigers. Even if the Swans get it in there, unless it's perfect, it's going to rebound.
Johnson to Smith. To half forward. Jude Bolton. Absolute gun professional of this Sydney Swans outfit. They have to start grinding some scores. Up it goes towards Seaby. Flies from behind. Off hands. The captain, McVeigh, needs a captain's goal. He won't get it because Foley was disciplined and got back. And that's the hallmark of the Tigers tonight so far. A word not really associated with them so much over recent times, and that is discipline.
He's everywhere, Nathan Foley. 17 possessions he's up to, but working deep in defence as well.
Hooley to himself, and now good opportunity for the get and go. Shut down though in the end, Rance.
Geez, not Nahas has made the effort, he's worked, and he's been given the worst delivery imaginable.
And that's where he lets himself down, Alex Rance. And that would upset Damien Harvey because he was clear for an eternity of time. I mean, he was 10, 15 seconds on his own.
And the reason he had to kick it so pinpoint accurately was because he did delay his decision to release.
Marich, good contest. Takes it to the line. Ball in. 49 plays 9. A 5-goal-0 opening term for the Tigers. You joined us late. It's been a different Richmond, the one we've seen all year. It's been the Richmond we've hoped to see all year. Edwards couldn't make something of it. Jetta, afterburners on. Tucked into the pocket. 60 from goal. Plenty of carry on the kick. Touched on the line.
Gee, that would have been some goal.
He's the #1 possession winner right now, Jetta, with 10 possessions. The next best is Johnson on the half-back line with 7, McVeigh was 7 and Kennedy was 6. They have shut down their midfield motor completely here, the Tigers.
And for the Tigers, Foley's had 17, Cochin 13, Martin 13, Hurley 13, Greek 12, Deledio 11, and Marich and Morris 10 each. There you go, that's the tail of the tape as Matner turns it over, no 15. Cochin gets it in. Sweeping handball out to Jackson. Looks up the line. That's a good kick. Put it out in front of his teammate. Jake King breaks the tackle, gets through, caught, got the handball, got it in the back. Umpire said, dropping the ball.
Well, he had 4 or 5 goes, Johnson, at completing the tackle. He finally got it. He got rewarded. He's been under the pump, but he's been one of the Swans' best.
Johnson back to Shaw.
Clever.
Chips the kick out. Parker. Centre of the ground. Good kick. It stays in the air for a long time. Getting across was Nahas. Great pressure. O'Keefe under the hammer. Fantastic play by Cochin. He was in hard. Jack goes hard as well. Look at this. Great play, Conker. Tiger fans up on their toes. Look at this. Fantastic atmosphere here at the MCG. Cochin.
And the ball up in the middle. Tuck fighting hard on hands and knees. Trying to shuffle it out. Jack likewise comes back to Jack. Caught by Cochin.
Canterbury's crook off the back of the pack there. Top one in the middle.
Watching a few of those loose ground balls, we're not seeing any players even thinking about sliding in, but there's a lot of them diving in head first.
Swans have lost 13 of their last 14 here at the G. Hasn't been a happy hunting ground for them. Matner, a little trip. 7 goals to 1 right now. Malcheski, spearing pass. Hoping for Kennedy and got him.
Well, that's an A-grade kick. And what's better than an A-grade mark, Jason?
A+.
It was a very tough mark, and he grabbed it under enormous pressure.
Second favourite for the Brownlow medal, Josh Kennedy.
And the Tigers are minding him like his second favourite for the Brownlow medal. He's had very little space to move, but that is an awesome grab.
To the Boos, kicking to the punt road end. From the 50, drives it long. That's top shelf.
Everything he does correctly, doesn't he, Josh Kennedy? He makes good decisions, he puts himself in good positions, and he's added an extra string to his bow. He's become a midfielder that can go forward, take the mark and kick the goal. That's a contested mark 1 against 2. And a critical finish. I mean, against the run of play. To say they needed it's a massive understatement, but he's kicked that from the 50-metre arc.
Interesting to watch Mark Seed with these centre bounces. He's got a really unusual approach. Not sure if he's ever going for the football.
All right, let's watch number 1 for the Swans go for the ball here against Marich.
Well, against Miller, he should be able to dominate.
He does, gets the tap. Going too tuck for in the back. Quickly to Martin. Martin kicks to the forward 50. Oh, good mark. Jackson. Open forward line. Cochin. There's a beautiful kick, and look at that. Lace out to the full forward. Salivating up here is Jason Dunstall. Memories come flooding back. Can he kick this goal for his 3rd?
I like the decision of Daniel Jackson too. Give it to the good ball users and pass it off to Trent Cochin, who delivered the ball beautifully.
I mean, if there was such a thing in AFL football, that was world class.
Yeah.
And that is at the top end of skill exhibition.
Well thought out, well executed.
Yeah.
Do they get the reward? Jack Revolt comes in and misses.
And I just want to talk about this forward setup of the Tigers today. No Vickery down there today, so they're using Deledio, Cochin and Martin at full forward, and I think that it's thrown the Swans' defence around a fair bit. They've used Ted Richards at full back on those smaller types, and they just look like they can't contain the marking power of the Tigers. They've taken 7 marks inside 50 already.
And the other thing it does, Kingy, I think it gives them better defensive protection when the ball does hit the deck.
Yeah, spot on.
Martin gets it out. Conker from 50.
Oh.
Gee, keeps that low and strong. and it's not touched, but it's a free to Richards. It won't count.
Premature celebration. Nice piece of work by Conker, nevertheless.
They're hanging on the Swans. It's a 34-point margin right now, which was the margin at quarter time, and we've played 19 minutes in this second term, and here it is again. Yeah, fair enough.
Just proof of the pudding. It doesn't matter what you use. If you push someone forward, it's a free kick.
Seavey up, front spot, can't mark. Cochin again. Short. King.
He should go back and have a shot unless he's got a clear target on. And look, he gets criticised at times for giving away free kicks, Jay King, but that last one, there's no doubt that Ted Richards would have touched the ball or marked the ball if he didn't somehow subtly work him underneath it.
Yeah, they've missed him, the Tigers. I reckon they would have got the 4 points down at Geelong had he been there.
Backs himself in. He fancies himself here, Jake King. It's across the face.
Oh, nearly a mark.
Still alive, though. Richards plays on with run. Mattner.
Seavey going to the bench. He's going to end up the target.
Tried to bounce it to him. That's on the full. It'll be a free kick. Swans. Kennedy to take it on the wing.
So 34 points the difference, but the Swans just starting to hold up a bit now. The Tigers have mucked up a couple of opportunities. Slight change in momentum here.
It's the first time, Ed, we've seen really a succession of a chain of disposals by the Swans that hasn't been intercepted by Tigers.
Malczewski up high, Reid couldn't hold it. Jack front and square, bullocked his way through. Which way will it bounce? Awkwardly, but well played by Grimes to slap it through for a rush behind.
Sam Reid going for what I reckon had to be close to mark of the year. But just like his game so far this season, just slightly off at the moment this time.
Yeah, hasn't had a kick yet, Sam Reid, just the forehand passes. Ben McGlynn, another one, just the one kick, one disposal. Hasn't had any impact whatsoever as yet. Jesse White, just the 3.
Is that the 5-year deal, Bogey, for Reid? Hasn't done him any favours yet. Long kick, past Marich, King. No Pryor there. He backed into the tackle, but he didn't really have an opportunity to get rid of it. And the umpire will pull it up.
Well, they've gone finally man on man, the Swans.
Marich and White down to tuck. Johnson with a slap down. The Bird outside of the boot. Kicks forward in hope. Bounced unkindly for Everett. Still gathers though. 55 out. Short. McGlynn got it.
That's a great decision by Andres Everett. There was a short bolt and he went over his head. He took the longer option, got it closer to goal. And just as you said, Ed, just a couple of signs that the Swans gaining a bit of momentum.
This is one of the men we were just talking about. He's only had the one kick for the day.
Hasn't been in great form. Hasn't kicked a goal in the last 2 games. Big moment for him and the Swans. And he still hasn't kicked a goal. On the line, touch through.
The lack of confidence in the kick play.
Yeah.
He just stabbed at it. Wasn't expecting to kick it.
3 rush behinds this quarter for the Swans. So they're getting it down, at least into their forward line. Could not buy a possession in the first term.
They've got Dennis Lane as substitute who could play a similar role.
That's an interesting decision. They get away with it. That was a 1-on-2, correct, Deledio?
Yeah, a kick from Newman was an interesting choice, but they, as Jason said, might get out of jail. Deledio running in and out of trouble. Flicks it out wide. Turnover coming here, off hands. Swans starting to go now. Malczewski, handballs back. Marich, though, gets it going again. Jackson. Out wide he goes. Batchelor. Foley's been fantastic. To Martin, the big names. Look at that for a kick. Right up to the square it goes. Jay King just touched off hands.
I think Jay King's just got to work out that he's not 6'3". Don't get yourself set in the goal square because your man who's on you, Johnson, is always going to be able to come over the top.
You've got to love the way he believes in himself though, Jared.
I do. It's underpinned his career, but still got to look in the mirror sometimes and say, no, I'm going to be at the foot of the pack.
Ball to Rance. Knocks it down beautifully. Grimes. Marich. Used his body well. D pops it up. Nahas is going to have to go.
They should have marked it.
Went straight through his hands. O'Keefe
Off
short.
the bench.
Just
Edwards.
off the bench, Edwards. Fist at his own possession. Over the head of Martin. Runs into Hanbury. Caught. Stripped of it. No free to Hanbury. Martin gets it again. Tied up. Ball up.
Gee, that was great from Martin there, Dwayne and boys. He just went 3 or 4 times just to give an effort there to make sure the Swans didn't get an easy exit. The handball to him wasn't perfect, but he's giving everything here for Richmond.
He's a great talent, we know, Kingy, and I think that this is the best way to use him. He hasn't got a big tank. Goal square, middle, goal square.
D, Morris, Edwards. At half-time, we'll show you Black Caviar, 21 straight, and the GWS celebration. What a day it's been for the expansion club in New South Wales. The other side from New South Wales, not so happy at the moment. Here's a chance for Robin Nahas around the outside of the boot. Sets it up. Was it a mark?
Oh,
yes. It's a Falcon, then a mark.
I want to have a look at this. I thought there were other hands on it.
Now, Matner thought there was too.
Well, definitely a Falcon in there, Ed. You're right there.
I think the crowd may have had an early look.
Off the outside of the right boot. Oh, that's
yeah.
gone off the right hand of Marty Matner.
Yep.
Let's play on. But you get an opportunity here. Brad Miller, you must kick the goal.
So Miller for goal number 3 as the clock ticks down to 2 minutes from half-time.
Well, that's poor that there's 3-on-1 on the goal line. He hasn't made the distance from 40 metres, and Nahas is the only one.
Morris, good pressure. That's 2 Millers dropped short. He's kicked 2 and missed 2 opportunities. Matner now gets the handball out. Great pressure. Parker turns it over. Jake King rushing through. Parker's been cleaned up. I hope he hasn't done his knee there, boys. I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
As Hanbury kicks the ball up the line, it's coming straight back. Minute 30 to go. Good bounce for the Sydney Swans. It comes out to Jude Bolton. Bolton finds some space. Out to Jetta. Jetta now at centre wing. Kicks it long, but there's no one home for the
Great
Swans.
kick.
Or it is a great kick. It comes inside. Now is a chance for Jack, who kicks to the goal square.
That is a brilliant kick.
Great
That is
play by Everett.
2 of the best kicks you'll see in that passage of play. The Jetta kick, it looked like he had nowhere to kick the ball, but he saw the red numbers back in the middle of the ground and he hooked it around the corner. He didn't have to hit a target. He had to get it in the vicinity of teammates, as we see Luke Parker up. He doesn't want to come off. And then the great weighted kick from Jack.
So Everett has kicked 20 goals, 19.
Oh, badness.
Misses from 15 metres out when they so badly needed a goal.
Let's have a look at the injury. Just gets driven into the ground. Not sure what the injury is, but he's up and about. He is. Looks as if he's grabbing a knee.
The left knee.
Well, that is a horrible miss from Ambrose Everett. One of the great kicks from Jack.
Bunching for the kick out. The ball bunched at centre half forward. Now the spread.
To himself and into trouble. Out of trouble. Martin. Still dangerous. Hooley. And he was paid the mark. Just held it long enough.
He was lucky Cyril Rioli wasn't on the mark there.
They're taking risks, but it's paying off.
Fortune has favoured the Brave for the Tigers in this game. Hooley pumps it long and wide.
Numbers here, Sydney. They've got to take this one away.
And ball not clear. Parker couldn't pounce.
That's one of the few times that the Swans have been able to force Richmond to kick long down the line to a contest.
So 19 seconds on the clock. Still time for a score. Parker. Touch play on, says the umpire. It spills out the back now. A chance for the Sydney Swans. Great play coming out was Dees, who's had a great day so far. Kennedy over the top. 4 seconds. The kick from McLean. Will it be marked? No. Off hands. Countdown. The Swans are thwarted right on the goal line. And the Richmond Football Club, their supporters stand as one. They love what they're seeing here tonight. 7-9-51, Sydney 2-7-19. That's the score at half-time. The Tigers are up and going here at the MCG.
Well, they probably deserve to be a little bit further in front, the Tigers. They've done such outstanding work in the first half. They've maintained possession. They've had almost an extra 100 possessions in a half of footy. They've kicked the ball at 70%. It's worked very nicely for them, but they've got to do it for another half yet.
So goal kickers, Revolt 2, Miller 2, and singles to Martin, Marriage and Conker for the Swans. All coming in that quarter, just the 2 goals, Henneberry and Kennedy. It's 51 plays 19. Richmond in front at the MCG.